What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is Maverick here, and right now we're going to be watching episode 7 of Assassin's Pride. So, last episode, not really much to say about there, right? It was an intermission episode. It had some pretty strange developments and all that. I've already mentioned it in length in my last episode. I'm not going to go over it again. At the very least, though, the things to take away from that is we do know that these 4 girls, Marita as well as the other 3, they're quite good with each other. They've sort of bonded in who knows when. We certainly haven't seen that in the anime. But they are on pretty good terms with each other and pretty much, I guess, could be considered part of Marita's crew, if you will, right? So these 4 girls added together. And that's, I feel like, really all that we need to take going forward into this episode. Now, I am expecting a bigger story now. We're going to be going into a new arc, and hopefully, this is where the good stuff starts happening, right? Where it's the reason why we skip so much stuff in regards to all that. All the backstory and whatnot to get to this point. So let's see if that is indeed the case. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. Alright, so things are burning. Is this going to be a backstory? Oh? A wooden sword? Alright. So did she detect danger? That's what they're trying to say here? So is Kufa going to be going along? Meh. I guess we'll find out later. Alright, let me skip this real quick. And back. Oh, okay, he's coming. Oh, but she is. Oh? Did he receive some new mission at the same time? What? I was thinking maybe be my boyfriend for a day, that kind of development. Marrying? Alright. Okay, I think this ties in with the very beginning. Oh, so that girl is probably her, right? Ah, shiroba, shiroba. Cool. Alright, some harem antics now. Oh. And who are you? Now what? Don't tell me this is the husband to be. Yep. No, wait. That. Marcus. I remember the Angel family is they're barons, right? Their father. What now? Is it actually going to turn out to be him? Seven, 8 years ago, boy of 12. Yeah. Edward a lady killer. I do think he's probably related with that incident Marcus was talking about. And like I said, I think he has a mission right now. Which is why he has that poison. Loop fire ice. What? What now? Alright, it's gonna lead to Kufa, isn't it? I can already see where this is going. And because Kufa is doing... And because Kufa is actually doing some assassin work. Yeah, because he's off doing assassin stuff. But she's not dead, isn't she? She's just unconscious. Like, what's the big deal? They're trying to make it out to be like a murder scene or something. But it is quite interesting seeing more and more of this world. Like, the setting of this is definitely something that I can appreciate. You know, the story notwithstanding, the I mean, I've said in length the things that I feel like are illogical of the anime so far. But I can definitely appreciate the entire setting. Like, look at this. Oh. So this is the guy who's... This marks... うーん。And you're letting a bunch of schoolgirls come to such a place if, like, if this was true, if this were true, how can you allow these children to come to this place, right? Because he needs to get close to the Marquis. Right. I think I can see where this is going. Like, it's all a lie. Marcus is doing something behind the scenes. He's taking these children, putting on a facade. That's how I see this going. Suddenly. Alright. Choroi. She is easily satisfied, isn't she? Anyways, I suspect that Kufa is using this as an opportunity to investigate this place. Oh. That is cool. Mm-hmm. Alright, good night. Jealousy. Alright, I guess Kufa's about to go do his mission. Oh. Did he actually get orders to kill her again? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. Alright. See you guys after this. Okay, there is actually a little bit after the ending song as well, so let's watch this together in 3, 2, 1, play. In a minute or so. Alright. A dream world of some sort? Yeah, of course he's hiding. Right. Add to the suspense. Last testament of a certain skeleton? Alright. Alrighty, we've got some interesting developments coming in this episode and this entire arc as well, and I do suspect that it has to do with actually both Kufa's and Rosetti's past. So at the very beginning of this episode, we see a scene where, you know, stuff is burning, and then there's 2 children on the ground, and then there's one more older dude standing behind them, right? Now, I do think that the girl there is most probably Rosetti, right? She has a similar hairstyle, similar hair color and whatnot. I think that one I'm like 80-90% sure is Rosetti. The little boy that was hovering over her, however, and the one who the little girl called her big brother, I actually think that's Kufa. And I say this because, you know, even though he has white hair and all that, we do see when in episode 3, you know, Kufa, once he transformed into his vampire self, he has this sort of white hair, right? And so you add that with the fact that the older person behind him was saying, why'd you have to go that far, and whatnot. Perhaps that was the that was the incident where Kufa transformed into a vampire, right, and ceased being human, and, you know, caused that big big massacre back then. Is that possible? And so is it possible that Kufa and Rosetti are actually siblings? I know this sounds very, very far out there, but I don't know, I feel like it, even though it's like super far, it's like very, very ridiculous to think about. It also makes sense in a kind of way, right? If you put the things together, then, you know, it sort of matches up with, you know, their conditions and whatnot, and what little hints that we've seen now, right? Now, the only thing that I can't quite get over is, if that was the case, then Kufa's acting pretty damn cold towards his sister, right? Or maybe he's just trying to, you know, play on the role of you know, the silent guardian or whatnot. Then again, that's if you know, that little boy is actually Kufa, right? For all we know, that could have been someone entirely else, and that is the entire situation that Kufa is trying to investigate into, actually. So that might be like some other sort of monster, spirit, yada yada yada. Now, the thing about this, though, and the reason why I'm leaning more towards, well, okay, so let's put the Kufa Rosetti sibling theory aside here. Now, definitely DeMarcus, I think, he's definitely a little bit fishy in my eyes, right? We see his his salvation scene over there, where he's trying to say that these men, or within his territory, there's this sort of disease outbreak, and then they have to kill them off without even really having a second opinion or anything, right? You combine that with the fact that DeMarcus is known for genetical engineering, and you can easily have a situation where perhaps he's trying to develop some biological mutation or weapon, and when gone wrong could cause these kinds of this kind of, I guess, berserk or frenzy in normal people, right? Potentially. So I don't know. It just feels to me that he's trying to cover up something, and you combine that with what he's known for. I just feel it's sort of going in that direction, right? And also we see, whenever there's a sort of noble character and then bringing in a lot of kids and whatnot, adopting orphans, the sad thing is, more times often than not, they're using it for some other devious purpose, right? So you add that with the entire backstory between of Rosetti and what she's saying about all the other children, and I'm getting more and more convinced that DeMarcus is actually not quite the nice person he seems on the surface, right? And again, this might also be why Kufa was tasked at the very beginning with apparently some sort of mission in order to maybe perhaps secretly investigate DeMarcus and do something about it, right? So I went back and watched, and the potion he received wasn't actually, well, they didn't really state that it was a poison, so it could possibly be some other kind of potion. I don't quite know, but I feel like it seems rather obvious to me that that was part of his mission that he's been given, and he's now needing to go to this place in order to fulfill, right? So yeah. That's that part. And then another unexplained thing is why, Merida is having these kind of visions. And the reason for that, I'm just thinking, is because of her mana connection with Kufa. And so again, if we still go on by the situation where Kufa is somehow related with that incident a long time ago, potentially these might be his memories sort of mixing together and carrying over to Merida, or maybe even his inner thoughts, right, carrying over to Merida because they share this sort of mana connection bond, right? So that's what I'm assuming is going on there. And then the very last scene, or I guess not the very last scene, but one of the last scenes within the anime, or within this episode, where Kufa was like putting his hand directly over the neck of Merida, sort of like wanting to strangle her or something. Obviously he's not going to wish any harm on her, right? But I do kind of think that, is it perhaps a sign that he wants to drink her blood or something similar to that? Because, I mean, Kufa is a vampire after all, right? Although I'm not really quite sure how vampire mechanics work in this world. But considering that one of the sort of nightmarish scenes that we see Marita have is, being chased by, or being frightened or being scared by a sort of vampire character, I do feel like there's probably a connection between that, what she's dreaming of, and with Kufa as well. So yeah, there we go. Lots of different theories that sprung up because of the events of this episode. It is an interesting kind of story. Some of it is still cliche. Like, I still feel like I'm fairly certain DeMarcus is bad news. But still, I do like this sort of sense where we're learning more and more about the backstory of Kufa, and of other characters as well. Rosetti, again, potentially, if that is them, but I'm pretty sure it's them. And yeah, in a pretty interesting setting as well, with getting out of the original city or block or whatever they want to call it, and going to yet another place, right? Now, of course, the usual flaws of the anime still applies, you know, not really having very good transitions between scenes, it always feels like they've, like, cut out half of the episode, due to jumping around and not really having enough of a context, like, what the hell were Kufa and Rosetti doing in that sort of cathedral-looking place, right? Like, were they on date as well? Did Rosetti, like, maybe have something to say to Kufa, and that's why she brought him there, you know, like that kind of thing, right? So, but that's, I guess, just something that we're gonna have to live with this series anyways. So there we go. Those are my thoughts and theories in regards to episode 7 and to this arc as well. Again, no spoilers, but if possible, maybe hint whether I'm on the right track or not, right? For all of you who are light novel readers or manga readers. So there we go. That's episode 7 of Assassin's Pride. I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.